Yeah, so I have a lot of questions for you, but I'm going to try to stick to the conversation today. Um, so right now, my situation is that I'm living with my parents. I'm living with my parents and my sister, and obviously, I don't like it. It's something that I'm trying to change, move away from, but I realize, based on what you've said, is that it's part of my karma. It's part of my destiny. And I noticed that there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of frustration when I interact with them. That if you were to ask me right now, I would say that I hate them. But I know that that's just a projection that I'm putting onto them based on what I think about myself um, as being separate and dealing with fear, dealing with uh, not knowing who I am. And obviously, they live in separation, so um, they haven't. I think the anger, the frustration is part because they've never actually given me love, and I've looked for that in them, only to realize that I'm the love that I seek. And so I love when you said that love is um, the end of being a localized, separate entity, and that's unconditional love because it's um, yeah, and that's what I experienced too, where it's love is just um, allowing whatever is happening,
Mm.
and in that there's only experience. And I've watched so many videos where you talk about there's only experiencing. There isn't a someone here speaking, or there isn't a someone here looking, and it's like an empty. It's like I'm empty. But then there's that emotion, that anger, going towards my
Mm.
parents.
Mm.
Um, and so, I mean, if my question would be obviously directed to how can I navigate this with my family, which I'm doing right now, and that is having that awareness of feeling my emotions. And I think that was a big step for me, realizing that I was looking for love. I'm looking for love, and they're not going to give it to me because first of all, there is no other. It's because there is no me, and I am that love that I seek already. So I think that it's just about allowing everything, and there's a lot of resistance in that, right? Because the conditioning, the body's conditioning, and then the neural pathways that I've developed, and I'm changing that too. And so I feel like the more I do that, the more I suffer. But at the same time, I think that's part of the path, right?
Mm. The more that you suffer, the more that you look at the feelings and feel the feelings. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
In the beginning, yeah. That's the unfortunate part that puts a lot of people off, is that in the beginning of feeling the feelings, which I think is really spectacular that you've done that. That's a really important step. Um, and it's why the feelings have been avoided, because feeling them is actually uncomfortable, especially when you believe that you are the feelings and that they're yours. The way that it's naturally meant to be when there's not separation is that everything is carrying the feeling. So if you're feeling anger, everything in the environment is angry. There's not a singular person with the anger, so it's a different experience of the emotion. But when you are experiencing the emotion, it's very intense. But it's really good that you begin to experience the emotion, because then you begin to experience the body. And the more that there is the experiencing of the emotion in the body, the more clarity and depth there will be in the investigation of are you the body? While you're trying to seek to avoid the body, you'll ironically remain the body. You'll remain believing that you are the body. But when you do the opposite, you go into the actual experience, it's like everything, it will begin to break down. Just like if we got a microscope out now and decided to investigate what the skin is, it would all begin to break down. It's like everything reflects non-duality. So the more that you actually go into what you're feeling, into what the experience actually is in that moment and pay attention, the more all the boundaries will begin to disappear, because there aren't really boundaries there. It's all dream, it's all lies or mind-made ideas.
Yeah. So feeling the anger, feeling the fear.
Mm.
And I've done that. And as you said, yes, that there is this release of energy in the body when I do that. I think some of the confusion is just if they're not really real, right? Like you're saying, it's all an illusion. And obviously, appearances still appear to be real, but they're just, they come and go, right? And it's all made from the same substance.
Mm.
Um, I guess that's my frustration. I don't know if it's a thought that says, "Oh, but nothing's changing," or "They're still real," or even when you said right now about the environment is like everything is angry, and that makes sense because my brother will visit and he'll actually say, "I'm so angry," you know,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Oh." Like I can feel that because I'm an empath just like you. And that's something that I had to learn the hard way when I was sensitive to sound, basically everything the physical body is experiencing. Um, and so I can feel when he's saying the words and I can see it in his face. And I started to realize that I needed to change that instead of feeling his anger or the fear of it. And I started to absorb that myself. I needed to be more grounded, feel the body because I have avoided the body. I don't want to feel that anger. I don't want to feel that fear. And so I'm really glad that I found I found your videos because it really made me understood that I was just avoiding the feelings. I was resisting the present moment, thinking that there is a better moment
Yeah.
in the future.
Yeah, that's really beautiful to hear because you start off when you get into this subject, you're seeking in the mind, when you get into this subject, like often we forget, I'm not sure how long you've been into it, but we forget what it was like beforehand. But before you get into the subject, you believe that everything you feel is just, everything you think is just real in the way it is. And then as you get into the subject, you begin to move to witnessing and witnessing the thoughts that are rising and witnessing how you think, the nature of your thoughts, witnessing other people and not so much involvement in it. And as you do that, you begin to realize that the thought pattern is on that level to avoid feeling bad. What the thought originally does is it tries to avoid feeling bad by manipulating the outside, by trying to line everything up to the way it likes. But then it begins to realize that that doesn't work. So then that's part of the witnessing, is you realize that trying to manipulate life doesn't work. You don't find happiness by getting money. It comes and goes. It's a fleeting pleasure or whatever the circumstances. So then you begin to look at the nature, the next part, the nature of feeling. Okay, so if it's not in me constructing the outside world, then it's in how I feel, which actually isn't the truth either. But then there's a deep exploration into feeling. and the lie of feeling. But first, there has to be the understanding of the feeling, the commitment to feeling, the discomfort of feeling, so you're not running away all the time from the feeling, and connecting it to your behavior, to your thoughts, to your interactions with the external world. I think this is like what Adyashanti or some teachers would call, going from the head down to the heart. And then there's this process of working out the feeling body. And it can be super helpful if you have the money or if you have the ability to work with someone to reflect that back with you, to work with somebody that does energetic work or somatic work, body work. If the money is not there, then you can do this stuff by yourself, by watching videos on the internet. But if you can, that can be really beautiful to allow that to appear. And then what if there's commitment to this, and there's not also the getting stuck in loops. Like this can be a problem when you go into feeling, is you get stuck in compulsive thoughts or compulsive loops, but I don't think you are. But so if there's a commitment to that, and a commitment to expanding and the releasing of the emotions and the settling down, then the next part is what is beyond the body. And this is where the big change can happen. Like if your happiness isn't dependent on the outside world, and then if it isn't dependent on the body, then what's next? What else is there? And then there can be the next evolution, so from the head to the heart, to that which is never moving, that which is always still. And then this is, like you say, when the love comes. And if you're an empath, you've already been touching that love your whole life, most likely. So you know naturally what's being talked about by the love.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've watched your videos where you've said it's the presence, it's the aliveness, the space, the silence. And I agree. It's just they're still seeking,
Yeah.
there's still and I don't know if this is true, but is the seeking caused because we're avoiding the negative feelings?
The seeking is, I wouldn't say it's the avoidance of negative feelings as such, that's an effect. The seeking is because of this dynamic that happens very young, where there is the identification with form, which you could say is a seeking. So as soon as the baby begins to think, I am the body, it is a seeking. It's a seeking to be something. And I wouldn't say that that's initially to avoid pain or to avoid negative feelings. It's more something karma, like from past lives, or just the karma of humanity, that this happens at a young age. So Nisargadatta would say it's from desire. There is a desire there for something in the life. So he would say it can't, that the identification comes from seeking. So not seeking to avoid feelings, but seeking to get something from life.
And that's just mind, right? That's just thought. That's because I always did feel as a kid that I was forced to do something. Like I always felt it. I wanted to be free. And my parents would say, no, you have to do this. You have to believe this. You have to be someone, be something. And so there's always this this belief that we have to be someone or be something to be loved, to be worthy,
Mm.
to, and I always felt it as a kid. And when I ask myself, what is it that I want now? It's like freedom, love, joy, you know, and to realize that those things are not actual things and they're not found in, like you said, movement or things or people, that it's who I am. So there's really nothing I can do. And
I would say that more than likely in the apparent story, and that's what it is as a apparent, is that you were most probably karmically open for this.
yeah,
And so there was a knowing of this in childhood, it wasn't just all forgotten. There was a remembering of this.
yeah, yeah. And I'm pretty young. I'm 32. I'll be 33 in the 22nd, actually, this month. But um, I'm like, okay, why am I interested in consciousness and non-duality? And so I've been doing it for, I mean, 2020 was when I had my first awakening, but over time, slowly, it's becoming uh, a greater desire, just because I've been suffering because of the separation. I don't want to see it. I don't want to experience it that way. And
Mm.
then to be a someone, to be identified with the body, to only be loved by the things that I do and not be myself.
Mm.
That's freedom for me, being myself. And I've never done that. To actually, yesterday I was sitting in dinner, not eating with them, but just in the dinner table, and I was afraid to just be myself, which is be in silence. Just not say a word and just be there. And um, it just
Mm.
made me realize that it's not in our family dynamics to do that. It's like, what's wrong with you, Ivan? Why are you not talking?
Yeah. No, and I would say that that's in most families and most of society, is if you're not performing, if you're not being something, then you're considered depressed or sad or bad or grumpy or moody or unfriendly. And it's actually the opposite. It's because people are afraid of silence, are afraid of that love. So it's because of their fear of it, they then interpret it and create a story which makes them feel better, that the other person is bad or wrong. This is so beautiful to begin to notice this. So this is, the witnessing, when you become first the witness of thoughts and then the witness of feelings. You become very astute to the details of what's happening in the environment.
Yeah, yeah,
And then there is, naturally, that it's not really you doing it, it's a natural phenomena that will appear, is that the old ways of behaving will get less energy because they don't bring you what you're looking for. And because your desire now is freedom, and it's a very sure path, very sure that that's what it wants, then that's what it will be looking for. If your desire was money, it would be looking for money. If your desire was clothes, it would be looking for clothes. But because it's moved on to freedom, then it's looking for that in the environment. What is free now? And then you can see quite clearly that performing and being something in that moment for the others is not the freedom.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's just I don't know. Sometimes it says a thought says it's not enough, or maybe this is not it. But I realize that's just part of the dream, right? That's just part.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thinking, that's what the thinking mind does. It's always, when it can't maintain a story, it feels most comfortable in that, then it will try the confusion tactic, like ping-ponging thoughts around. Try all types, because it's not there's a bad thing, the mind, but the mind is to maintain the energy of seeking and thinking and doing.
So you would recommend just remain what I'm doing, just keep being the witness, just keep watching and just keep
Yeah.
feeling, most importantly, feel the body.
Yeah. And if you have any extra money to do some body work sessions or whatever you feel attracted to. I have lots of suggestions on my website, but to release energy and to have the input of someone external, you know, another
Yeah, I've been very much attracted to you just based on everything you've said from your videos. Like I've literally watched so many videos, and you have a lot
I've
on
been
YouTube.
doing it a long time.
Yeah, yeah, old videos too, but they're
Yeah.
so good. I would definitely be interested with you. I think you're not doing that anymore, but
No, I don't do one-to-one sessions anymore, but on my website I do have references of other people and other practices.
okay.
Something somatic, you know what I mean? Like something body based, I think would be
Yeah,
really helpful.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Yeah, always pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
lovely to speak to you. Thank you.